What's up, y'all? This is Daryl D. You're watching Daryl D TV, and right about now, I'm coming at you from the beautiful Upper West Side of Manhattan in New York City. And today I wanted to show you a few things. First of all, I want to show you this really cool book that just came out. Well, it's been out for a few months. It's called Do Remember. Do Remember the Golden Era of New York City Hip-Hop Mixtapes. Nice thick book. Came out a few months ago. 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. I'm gonna see if I can get this right. Evan Auerbach and Daniel Eisenberg are the ones who did this book. If you know anything about me, you've been following the channel just a little bit, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of mixtapes, and I have quite a collection. And a lot of mixtapes I have are featured right here in this book. A lot of those mixtape DJs. Anybody from Love Buck Starsky to Buck Wild to Funk Master Flex to DJ Clue to underground cats like Grandmaster Vic and Chill Will from the East Side. You name it. New York is just the definition of that mixtape culture. And many of those guys are talked about right in this book, or they have a mixtape that's featured in this book. Now, this book doesn't cover everybody, because there's quite a few mixtape DJs here in New York City during the 90s. A lot of different cats coming out of every nook and cranny, out of all of the 5 boroughs. There's a lot of guys. I have a lot of New York mixtape DJ mixes that a lot of people have never even heard of. But I decided this summer for this trip that I would bring this book with me, because I knew I was going to be coming into contact with maybe one or two mixtape DJs, and I decided that I wanted to get some signatures of these guys that I admire so much. Now, I come to New York every summer usually to attend the Crotona Park Jams. There's lots of videos on this channel about that, and I knew that one of the performers this year was going to be Kid Capri. So I was hoping that I could get Kid Capri to sign his book for me, which I did. We'll look at that in a second. But I was hoping to get, one or two. There are a couple of DJs that are like my absolute favorites, and I was hoping to leave with at least a couple. I'm about halfway through my trip right now, and so I don't know who I might be able to get in the next few days, but I want to show you who I've gotten so far. Now, again, the cool thing about this book is that they started off from the very earliest stages of mixes all the way up until modern day. So they start with the party rocking DJs, the one you saw in the nightclubs, and then they get to a lot of the street DJs and neighborhood DJs. They talk about the turntablist DJs. They talk about the blend DJs. They talk about the exclusive guys. They move on into, they talk about the party rocking DJs. They talk about the radio commercial type DJs. And then they even talk about a lot of the stores here in New York where you could go and buy these mixes. It's really cool. And then they move up until later days when DJs were going from cassettes to CDs and so forth. It's pretty thorough. It's a pretty thorough book. Doesn't feature every last little thing, but it doesn't leave you feeling incomplete in any way, at least not me. So let's take a look. Let's see what we got in here. In no particular order, I made a few bookmarks so that I could show y'all what I got so far. So first, let me show you. I've met this guy in a park before. One of the greatest party rocking DJs on the planet. Let me show y'all some tapes from DJ Brucie B. And here are 4 of his mixtapes right here. I actually own all 4 of these tapes, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, I got him to sign right there. Brucie B is a cool dude. I've met him a few times over the years. Man, it's always an honor to see him. Brucie B is one of those guys where, if you're not from New York, like me, I'm not from New York. I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I currently live in Arizona. But Brucie B was one of those guys that you heard about in the old rap magazines, or you might hear, you know, later on in the 90s, you'd hear him on different rap songs. People, you know, shouting him out all the time. I remember hearing Kid Capri shout him out on some of his early mixtapes. So he was like one of those many guys that I heard about, but I didn't, you know, I didn't have any of his mixes at the time. I just heard about it. And he was one of those guys who his reputation was just huge. His reputation for what he did in a music game and a mixtape game was just really, really huge. So some years back at one of the Cortona Park jams, it was just really, really cool to meet him. And and now to have him, you know, in my mixtape book, it's pretty cool. It's such an honor. So big ups to Brucie B, man. He's certainly a legend. Last Thursday at the first park jam that I went to this year, where Kid Capri was playing, he burned the park down as usual. Okay, let's just get that right. Kid Capri is that dude. He's my favorite. He's my favorite mixtape DJ of all time. Him and, you know, I think him and Capri and DJ Hollywood, I think, are the two greatest DJs out there, New York DJs. Kid Capri, Hollywood, Brucie B, people like that. I've always been partial to the party rocking DJs because that's my background, is the nightclub and getting people on the dance floor. That's where I come from. So I've always been I've always been more of a fan to those type of DJs more than any other ones. So yeah, I was happy that I got Kid Capri to sign my book. This is a page of his mixtapes. And once again, I have all of these tapes pictured here. There's a whole article, a whole interview in here from Kid Capri. Just like Brucie B does a whole entire interview in this book. They don't interview everybody, but they did interview Capri, and they did interview Brucie B. So always a pleasure to see Kid Capri. I can watch him DJ non-stop each and every day. Big ups to DJ Kid Capri. Big ups to Cortona Park, friends of Cortona Park, and GMC Entertainment. If you don't know about the park jams, you need to find out. Go watch some of them Daryl D videos about the Crotona park jams. Next up, so a couple days ago, DJ Red Alert was honored with a statue in Harlem, where he lives. If you're ever in New York, you need to make your way up to 138th Street and Broadway. Right there in the corner, there's a small park there, and there was a ceremony a couple days ago where DJ Red Alert was honored. There's a nice crowd there, a lot of city officials, a lot of hip-hop cats. The news was there. It was pretty cool to see DJ Red Alert get that kind of shine. It was an honor to be there. I was very fortunate to be in town to witness that. I've met Red Alert many times over the years. All I can say is he's one of the most laid-back, down-to-earth, stand-up dudes I've ever met in this game. He's just a mellow, down-to-earth, cool guy. So I was able to get Red Alert's signature, and I got him on a page that actually features one of his actual mixtapes. So if you look right there, that's where Red Alert signs it. And then of course you can see his tape right here on this page, the radio tapes. And he was very flattered, you know, to be a part of this incredible book. There's some of everybody in here. You in the mixtapes, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. If I were you, I would hurry up while they're still available. So, speaking of cool DJ Red Alert, let me show you this other one. He also was nice enough to sign his picture for me. There's the signature right there. There's Red Alert right there. And this is the whole picture right here. So that was pretty cool too. So I actually got Red Alert twice in this book. Let's see who else I got. Oh, now this one, I was most excited to get this signature so far. Over the years, I bought a ton of mixtapes here in New York City. I bought dead stock from a few different defunct record stores here. I've bought tapes off of private collectors. I found tapes in the street. I found tapes in old bodegas. I've even found tapes at different record shows that they've held in hotels. I found tapes everywhere here, and quite an abundance. There's a private collector that I've probably bought a few thousand tapes from over the years. And in his collection, I mean, he had it all. He had a ton of DJs that I had never heard of up until I bought these tapes from him. DJs like Grandmaster Vic, Kool Kirk, Super Sam, Funky Child, who else? Just a ton of DJs I had never known about. And I would ask him, where's this guy from? Oh, he's from Corona, Queens. Where's this guy from? Oh, he's from Harlem. Where's this guy from? He's from all of these DJs in these little nook and crannies of every borough in New York. And one of those mixtape DJs was a guy named DJ Showtime. And I bought quite a few Showtime tapes from this private collector who will remain anonymous because he's still got more tapes. Actually, I'm picking up about 300 tapes from him on this trip. So I got all these DJ Showtime tapes, and the other day while at the Park Jam, it just so happens that I ran into this mixtape DJ. Somebody pointed him out to me, and I was like, wow, you're DJ Showtime? That's crazy. I got all your tapes, man. He was mad flattered, and I got him to sign my book too. Now, this picture that I'm about to show you, this is Harlem Music Hut in Harlem. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is right on St. Nick. I want to say 126th Street, 127th Street, somewhere in there in St. Nick. And this was one of those Harlem mixtape capitals. They had everybody in there. They had all of the tapes. And so that's a party that they were having. I'm assuming this picture was from the 90s, but I can't be completely sure. But DJ Showtime signed it for me right there. So that was super cool. I mean, it's one thing to get all of the well-known DJs, but to get some of the more obscure DJs that a lot of people outside of New York never heard of or are not familiar with, that was cool. That was really, really cool. And I bought so many tapes that a lot of tapes I've had, you know, multiple copies of. Showtime was one of those guys that I just, every time I see tapes, you know, if the price is right, I don't question it, I just buy it. I figure it out later. I get them home, I see, make sure that I have them in my private collection. If I don't, then I add them. If I have them already, then I'll just sell them to somebody else. But I can tell you that I know I had at least a few, 2, maybe 3 Showtime tapes that I had multiple copies of, and I sold those tapes for a pretty penny. And they sold really well because people had just never heard of them, especially these people, these collectors in Japan, these collectors in different parts of Europe. They were like, who is this guy? I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I wish I had 100 of his tapes to sell, but or you know, any of these guys for that matter, because you know, these more obscure DJs, not everybody knows them. So it was such a surprise, and it was very flattering to meet DJ Showtime. And he's a cool dude, you know. Big ups to DJ Showtime. Down to earth dude, laid back, just a cool, mellow guy. Big ups to you. Let's see. So next up, oh, this was cool right here. So at the Red Alert statue unveiling a couple days ago, I see this guy. I see this dude, and he's wearing a Cormega, you know, from Queensbridge, Cormega. He's wearing a Cormega t-shirt, and it says, "Where is Cormega? Have you seen him?" And when you're here in New York, you see all kinds of hip-hop related t-shirts. They got, you know, everybody's wearing cool tees here. So I go up to the guy and I say, "Hey man, where'd you get that t-shirt?" And he looked at me and he just kind of giggled. And I was like, where'd you get that? And he pointed next to him, to the guy next to him. I look over and there's Cormega, just standing, just chilling. I was like, whoa, yo, what's up, man? That was crazy. He was just standing there, just chilling there to, you know, give Red Alert his flowers. And because I had Red Alert sign this book here, I had that. So, you know, we chop it up for a hot second. And then I'm thinking to myself, there's gotta be a tape in here featuring Cormega. There's gotta be. Cormega was on a lot of mixtapes over the years. So I started looking through the book. I stepped aside, I started looking through. And sure enough, I found this tape here, The Best of Cormega. And he signs it for me right here, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm not sure what DJ did this tape. The Montana Way Best of Cormega. I'm not sure what DJ actually did this particular mix. But yo, I got a MC in my mixtape book who signed this tape. How cool is that? That was pretty cool. So, like I said, the book doesn't feature every single New York mixtape DJ. It's too many DJs for that. You'd have to do a volume 2 and a volume 3. But I did decide that while I was here, I wanted to get as many mixtape DJs in my book as possible. So all of the guys that I ran into, I got a signature. So let's go up here to the front of my book. Let's look at some of these other signatures I got. So check this out. So first off, here we have DJ Ted Smooth. Now if you don't know about Ted Smooth is that guy who makes all the ill re-edits and remixes. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He does a lot of park jams here. He does a lot of parties, a lot of clubs. I have, if I recall correctly, I have 1, maybe 2 Ted Smooth mixtapes in my collection. But he was at the park jam and I just had to get him in my book. And he wrote Ted Smooth, straight face, and he crossed out do and put you, so you remember, which I thought was pretty cool. Next up, we got a really good buddy of mine. This is none other than DJ Louie Lou from Kingsbridge. This is the man, old school New York DJ. This guy, he's a legend. Came up with, you know, Kid Capri and Frosty Freeze, and you know, he's just one of those classic New York City guys who's got a long resume of cool experiences in DJing here in the city. I met Louie Lou, years ago. I met him at the park years ago. Record collector, DJ, 45 master, record slinger. I initially was buying 45s off of him, and then because of Lou, I met a lot of different people around the city. A lot of other DJs. Lou knows a lot of people. He's a cool dude. Big ups to DJ Louie Lou. I got a lot of Louie Lou mixtapes at the crib. I might have to do a part 2 to this video. We'll see. Maybe I'll show you all of the tapes that of the DJs that I actually am showcasing today in this book. Okay, moving right along, we got DJ Robbie Rob from the Bronx. Now Robbie Rob is one of those DJs who, you know, especially going into the CD era, Robbie Rob made a lot of mixtapes, a lot of CD press mixtapes, you know, a lot of the club music, radio music, commercial music, heavy DJ. I've met Rob once or twice before in the past, but he was at the jam, you know, a few days ago, and so I had to get him in my book. Let's see who else we got here. So next up, we got my main man, Jay Blast. Jay Blast, another old school, just New York stand-up guy. Legend in the game, DJ, hip-hop collector, all-around cool guy. I've met a lot of people through Jay Blast. Matter of fact, DJ Louie Lou introduced me to DJ Jay Blast many years ago, right after I met Lou. And I have a number of Jay Blast mixtapes, a lot of cool out tapes or whatever, a lot of cool R&B joints, smoothed out mixes or whatever. A real cool guy and a good friend of mine right now. You know what I mean? Me and Lou, or me and Jay Blast and Lou for that matter, we all go way back now. And have gotten real tight over the years, and I've gotten a number of tapes from Jay Blast. So might have to talk about that. Might have to be a part 2 to this. Next up, right here, we have DJ Lightning Lance. Take a good look at that. Now let me tell you something about Lightning Lance. You ever heard of a record called Live Convention 1981? It is the first record that features scratching on the record. And basically it was a party, like a concert, a party really, that was going on, that was merely recorded and pressed onto vinyl. On one side, it's Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. On the other side, it's DJ Lightning Lance, and I forgot who else is performing on there. But Lance is the first one on vinyl that was pressed on vinyl who took doubles of a record and was doing his thing with it. The first time something like that was pressed on vinyl was with DJ Lightning Lance. So I think that's pretty cool. I've met Lance twice before in the past, and that's just cool. It's just cool to have and that record, I have that record in my collection, and I was lucky enough to find it for a price that was so good it was almost free. Not free, but almost free. It might as well have been free. So that was cool to run into Lance again. I ran into him at the Park Jam. I'm telling you, this is how these Park Jams are. You gotta go. If you're ever in New York in July, it's pretty much every Thursday in July in the Bronx. And they're called the Crotona Park Jams. GMC Entertainment puts them on, and the Friends of Crotona Park. The last one I want to show you is DJ Chuck City. Now, DJ Chuck City, for me personally, I always see him DJing with DJ Rockin' Rob. They're like a team. Most of the time they're on vinyl. I will say Rockin' Rob is the baddest dude I've ever seen rock some 45s. Chuck City, I've seen Chuck City DJ many times over the years at the Crotona Park Jams. He's an old school New York City DJ staple in the game, and it was nice to be able to just pull him aside and chop it up a little while, and he was nice enough to sign my book for me. And for right now, that's about it. So first and foremost, I encourage you to run out and do remember the golden era of New York City hip-hop mixtapes. You want to go out and grab this book while you still can, because you know how these hip-hop related books are. They sell out and then you're just out of luck, unless you want to pay some reseller 2, 3, 4, 5 times the price. So make sure you go grab this book, and I'm glad I was able to show you guys so far what DJs I got to sign my book. And like I said, the journey's not over. I'm here for another 3-4 days, and who knows who else I might get to add to this cool little piece of reading material here. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, thank you guys for hanging out. This is Daryl D TV, coming straight from NYC. Peace and love. Y'all be safe.